Hi, welcome again to Steward. Thank you for putting your trust in us and giving us the opportunity to be of service to you. Today, we're going to walk through how to set up Altruist, which is your custodian. And we're going to cover four things. First, what is a custodian? Second, why do you even need one? Third, I'll walk through step by step of how to set up your accounts. And fourth, I'll give you a tour of the platform itself. That way, it's much easier to use going forward. Let's start with first what is a custodian investment account and why do we need one? Well, think of a custodian like a suitcase, right? And the suitcase is what holds your stocks, your bonds, ETFs, mutual funds, kind of keeps them safe. And so you probably today have your stocks or bonds or ETFs in an account like Vanguard, Fidelity, Schwab, and for many of our families, lots of those, right? And so think of that as many different suitcases. So the first step we're going to do is streamline all those different check-in luggage into one streamlined carry-on suitcase. And we use a provider called Altruist. It's the #3 custodian or kind of suitcase for investments in the US. Also has a really nice, clean user interface as well. The second reason that we're going to do this, beyond just simplifying your full accounts, is this will also give Steward the ability to help offload from your plate the day-to-day investment management and execution of tax strategies. It'll give you a simplest place to download account statements and see your tax documents as well. And importantly, we're only going to be able to play kind of like a Marie Kondo role for your accounts. And what I mean by that is we can only help you organize things within your suitcase, right? Doing the rebalancing and the investing. Importantly, Steward can never move money in or out of the suitcase, you and only you. And that's very important, right? I would want this for my own security. We'll be able to move money in and out of the accounts. So let's walk through how to get this set up. And so the first step of what will happen, and I've asked our teammate Ahosa to walk through this together with us, but you would log into your email inbox and you'll see that you got invited by Steward to join Altruist. So you can click on that email and it'll come from no reply at altruist.com. And if you scroll down, you can click join Altruist. Terrific. So the first step will be, it'll ask you to set up a account password. So you can get that set up. It's going to verify your account and it'll tell you that Steward has already started this account opening. And so what we've done behind the scenes just to make your life easier is we've set up each of the accounts so that you don't have to figure out which ones to do. And we've also tried to pre-fill as much of the paperwork as possible. This should only take a few minutes. So you can click start now. And you'll see here, and I just want to point out some of the types you might see. This will depend, for you specifically, but typically we're going to be setting up a Roth IRA. An IRA, if you have a rollover IRA, we'll be setting those up. And just to demystify that, an IRA is an individual retirement account. And so that's going to help us do some neat tax strategies because Uncle Sam says, please, for the love of God, put away money for retirement is what they're telling us. They're going to give us some neat tax breaks. So you may see some IRA accounts in there. You'll also see an individual brokerage account. So that's just a standard investing account just for you. And then if you have a partner, you'll also see a joint investment account. And that's for investments you guys are making together towards joint goals. So you can just click on that type and get started. Terrific. So you'll see here, we've already completed some of the information. There's just going to be a few spots where we didn't know the information where you'll need to add this stuff on. So first thing you can add your date of birth. So feel free to go ahead and add that specific to you. And you'll also have to go ahead and confirm your date of birth as well. And it'll also ask you for your social security number. Importantly, it's going to kind of keep that information masked for your own security. So you can feel free to go ahead and add that in and confirm that. You'll also see in here that it's going to ask for your spouse's date of birth if you're partnered. And so just be ready to add that in. Don't want to catch you off guard in case you forget that birthday. And then your email and your phone number and your address. You'll notice we've tried to pre-fill as much as we can for that for you. And feel free to make any adjustments on your employer and industry or title. Likely we might not have your employer's address. We'll do our best to fill this in, but feel free to adjust that as well. The reason they're asking for all this is just for security checks. They want to prevent money laundering, et cetera. So they want to verify you're a real person. So that's what that address is for. And then we've also put in, based on your tailored information, your approximate income level and your liquid net worth. So that is already up to date. And just what liquid net worth means, just to decode that, is that's the amount of assets that you could kind of use today to live off of in retirement. So not including the dollars you have in a house or, unvested stock in your company. This is just the stuff that's liquid and that you could use today. And then finally, it's going to ask you to do some disclosures. For the vast majority of Steward families, all of these are no. It's asking, are you an officer in a public company? Are you a member of a FINRA firm or, part of the New York Stock Exchange? And then finally, have you been ever kind of called out by the IRS for not paying taxes and reporting your interest and dividend income, high odds not. And if any of these do apply, feel free to flag them for us and we can help you get set up. It'll just mean you'll have to do some of this account statement paperwork via DocuSign versus this nice kind of easier digital flow, but it's doable. So let's click next. Terrific. And now if you have a spouse, you'll also need to enter their information here. And so again, we'll have tried to fill in as much as we can here. You'll have to confirm their date of birth as you walk through and then do similar check for, marital status you can put in, and you'll see here in just a second. Feel free to update, social security numbers or marital status. But yeah, this is the one where most often we get of like, you don't necessarily know your spouse's social off the top of your head. So that's just a good one to check as you start to fill this out, or to just do it side by side with your partner. Terrific. So there's the contact information, same thing for employer and income. We've tried our best to fill it out, but feel free to make any adds or adjustments. And then same thing on disclosures. So we can go to the next step. Great. Okay. So this one, wonderfully, this is why it can be so painful to set up these accounts on your own, but we've already filled this information. So what it's asking is for every account, where did the money come from? And what is the purpose of this account? And so you can see, let's start just with one of those menus, and you'll see there's various purposes, for source of funds. Did it come from alimony? Did it come from an insurance settlement or savings? So we've updated these to be the correct answers for you. Generally, it's employment income or savings. And then similarly for the purpose of the account, you'll see for all of these IRA accounts, it's retirement, right? And then for your individual or joint accounts, we're going to say investing with occasional withdrawals, because maybe you'll be using that even sooner than retirement as well. So this is, bottom line is, we filled all of this out for you, so you can just go ahead and click next. Terrific. So this next step is asking you to add beneficiaries. What I'm going to say is you can skip this for now. Now, it's really important we set up beneficiaries for accounts, but we're going to do that with you as part of your overall estate planning strategy. So you can skip this for now, and then we're going to come back and make sure that you're setting beneficiaries in line with your wishes. This other question is trusted contacts. Now, why do they ask this? Increasingly, as America ages, some people call it the silver tsunami, right? And people are getting older. If there's a risk of Alzheimer's, then the custodian wants to make sure they have someone to call if something really out of the ordinary, you're wiring $1 million to some new address in a different country, right? And so this is the person they would email or call if something really unusual happened in your account. I'll say they're also going to flag this for Steward and for me, and so we can kind of follow up and say, hey, something looks unusual, and we'll follow up with you. So for now, you can skip it, but you're also welcome to put someone in there if you'd like to. Okay, final step. Now, this was one where we're going to do something that's actually like a little bit more proactive. The other stuff's been pretty easy so far. So you're going to sign the account paperwork, but importantly, we're going to flip the check boxes. So you are going to agree to the Altruist agreement, to the disclosures, and to the equity trust company agreements and disclosures. It says, yes, I'm okay. You're setting up an account with me. And we are going to opt out of each of the opt-ins. Why? Turns out those three ways, I always like to follow the money, are methods that a custodian makes money. And while I love using the custodian, we are not out here to help them make more money. Let me just explain what each of those are if you are curious. Securities lending is where you loan out your stock to other people and try to earn interest on it. It's like a higher risk than what we want to be doing with this. We want to take risk in other ways. And the dividend reinvestment program, we're also not wanting to do that one. And you'll see over here, you'll get the same thing in this check mark screen as well. And you'll see when you load out of that one, and it'll have one extra prompt box. They really want you to do it, but we're automatically going to be rebalancing for you in the right way. And so you don't need to be opted into that drip program. And then finally, we're opting out of the sweep program. A sweep program is the way that cash gets held for you. And so that custodian kind of push it out to various banks. We never want to have too much cash in this account. We want you in a higher yielding savings account instead. So you don't need that as well. So you're going to have to do this for each of the accounts one by one. But same thing, check the first three boxes and then uncheck the rest and write your name. And you'll see for these, your individual accounts, it'll be checking the first two boxes and unchecking the remaining three. If by any mischance you make a mistake here, oh, I forgot to uncheck that box or check that box, just let us know and we can help you get that updated of opting you out. And you'll notice here, you can also sign for your spouse, obviously with their permission, to get that joint account set up. Terrific. So it was as easy as that. And just to compare and contrast, generally, this would have taken like an hour and probably 30 pages of paperwork. This is another reason we really like working with Altruist. So now your accounts have been submitted. You can click done. And I'm going to do the third chapter here of what we're going to look at in Altruist, which is how to use it. And so when you log into Altruist at any point, I recommend using their desktop app. They also have a mobile app, but I find the desktop one is a bit easier to use. You can go to the top right as a start where you see your initials. And if you click on documents, that'll be where, right now it's empty, but that'll be where you see your tax documents and account statements at any given time. So I want to make sure you know that. And you're also going to be able to see in there your invoices. We will also bill you from Altruist. And so, Sunline is the best disinfectant. We always want you to have full transparency on your billing, and you can always check that right there. And then the next step you're going to do is add funding accounts. So if you click on that green button, what you can go ahead and do, I'll just show you the beginnings of this, is you can add your bank account. And importantly, why that matters is that way at any point in time, right? If you no longer want to work with Steward, or you are about to invest money and you just, have some money to put to work, you can connect with your bank account and move money in and out of your investment suitcase. Terrific. So one extra thing to show you is settings. So if you click again on your initials and click settings, here is where you can make any updates on your personal information. And then if you keep scrolling down, very importantly, I would suggest that you set up two-step verification, because that is a really important extra security layer to your account. Now, if we go back to the main page, you can scroll to the top and click that green circle. You'll see as you scroll down, here are all of your various managed accounts with Steward and with Altruist. And so you don't have to worry about linking any accounts. So if you see that on the bottom, we're going to do that through a separate software tool that's much more specified for this. So you can ignore that. But the next step, and that's our fourth and final chapter of what comes next. So once your accounts are set up, we'll be notified of that. Altruist might take 1 or 2 days to just process that as well. If there's anything unusual, but typically it happens right away. And our next step will be, we will initiate a transfer from your existing multiple sets of suitcases right to this nice streamlined suitcase. And so we will proactively do that for you. And so you'll just get an email in your inbox saying, do you approve that we can do this initial transfer? Now, very importantly, We are not going to buy or sell anything as part of this transfer. We're just moving one set of clothes, right, or stocks, bonds, ETFs, from one suitcase to another without changing at all what's inside. Then and only then, once that information comes over, we'll sit down together for our kickoff meeting. We're going to re review the investment strategy, make sure you feel very comfortable with what it is and why we are making those choices. And then and only then, we'll do any form of adjustments. And specifically, what you can anticipate is our name of the game is after tax returns, right? So we never want to sell anything unnecessarily. If we can hold on to it, we're going to try our best to do so. And so, because we don't want to cause capital gains tax. And so, what we're going to do as a next step is we are going to review what you can sell without tax impact, and then what are the spots of where we'll hold on to it. And we'll come to you with a suggestion as a next step in our kickoff meeting. So your only steps, just as a recap, is setting up the custodian with Altruist, so approving that account setup, entering a little bit of information where we had gaps to help set up the accounts. And then also just hitting approve on that initial transfer. And then come our kickoff meeting, we'll discuss investment strategy again, and we will do any shifts on the accounts only once we have your green light. Terrific. Welcome again to Steward, and we're really looking forward to our first kickoff meeting. We'll see you soon.